Watcher, everybody. I wanted to take a few moments to describe what I'm doing to analyze decentralized cloud computation projects and why it's important, why I think this is a worthy endeavor, who should be interested in it, and then how I intend to go about analyzing different decentralized cloud computation projects. So, I guess to start with, I would say since the Treaty of Westphalia, you can argue that states have been centralizing power up until quite recently. Arguably, you can say that the pendulum began to swing in the opposite direction from centralization to decentralization with the collapse of the British Empire, the Soviet Union, and now what is looking like a diminishing power of the United States of America globally. And I think this pendulum is swinging from centralization to decentralization across various different aspects of society that we live in today, not least technology. And the advent of Bitcoin, which is now 14 years old now, but other cryptographic technologies and focus on privacy and currency, what that means fundamentally for a free society, I think we're seeing the pendulum swing towards decentralization. And that has huge ramifications for businesses and speculators and investors. So this is why I think it's important. A little bit about myself. I'm a career technologist. The last 7 years were at I was at four different startups as a chief technology officer. Two of those were cryptechs, the other two were fintechs. And really, what I did there was help those companies go from zero to one. That is to help them with the big decisions around the technology stack, the architecture, who to hire, and how to organize technology so that it delivers the mission of the business. And I think, touch wood, all four of those have been quite successful regionally, and potentially one of them could become a global success. I hope it does. Before then, I was at Deutsche Bank for 6 years, building IT for IT, front, middle, and back office systems. And I was part of the team that selected the cloud infrastructure for Deutsche Bank, which has grown since then. They have a hybrid cloud technology. Before then, I was at Bax or Vocalink and MasterCard companies for 6 years, finishing there as a distinguished technologist, and again, really getting my hands dirty in the selection, evaluation of technology for different projects. So this is what really interests me about decentralized cloud. It's bringing together cryptech and cloud, which is a fascinating area. There's some 19 projects that you can see on this spreadsheet. My huge thanks for the Crypto AM group in helping me to compile this list, as well as CryptoGB, our Facebook group, a Facebook group that I administer. So thank you very much to the people who have helped me to compile these 19 projects. If you're aware of one that I've missed, I'm sure you are, then please let me know. Be more than happy to look into this, because for me, this is what I do. And I think this is kind of the next leg of my journey for the next few years, will be to understand how these technologies work and be able to advise people on how to use them appropriately to maximize benefits for their own businesses. So why I think decentralized today, if we look at cloud technologies, free companies, American companies, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, have really centralized the entire cloud space. Yes, you can argue that Russia and India and China have their own providers to some extent, and there are smaller cloud providers regionally and at the national level. But the case still remains for decentralized cloud technologies, because what ultimately these centralized cloud technologies are not censorship resistant, they are not permissionless, and your data is arguably not particularly private, although there are different ways of arriving to that particular conclusion. The use of decentralized cloud technologies promises censorship resistance, It promises to be permissionless, and it promises to be totally private with you owning your own data. The one thing that it really needs to promise is, can it compete financially with the centralized solutions that are available today? And that's really what I want to learn. Also, how easy is it to use compared to those technologies? Because even I can use AWS, which says a lot. If I can use it, I think anyone can. What I will be doing, so my approach is to take a very first pass over all of these projects and just do what I normally call a paper analysis. However, I will get in touch with the community owners, I'll give the project owners and the community. I will, based on the assessment of if it's worth taking a particular project to the next phase of analysis, if that's the case, I will then attempt to use these projects in anger and actually set up the infrastructure, use the token to pay for things, get onto their test net, get onto their main net, whatever I need to do. But in this first pass, it's going to be broadly a paper exercise and questions that I'll ask from the community to answer. So what is my criteria? Well, the first thing I want to understand is exactly what kind of cloud services are available. Is it just compute, storage, DNS, CDN, network? What is it that's on offer from a particular project? It could be all of the above. It could just be a specific area like DNS, domain name service, or content delivery networks. We shall see for each one. The token, its consensus mechanism, whether it's live on mainnet or not, the blockchain that it uses, that's of interest to me, as well as the tokenomics. So we will be diving into those. The reason why those are interesting is really from a perspective of, can this thing scale? Will it cost the earth as it scales? How fair is the token distribution? Now, if you're participating as a consumer of this decentralized cloud infrastructure, that would make you a significant community member. Is there any opportunity to leverage the token to reduce your costs, for example? Or if not reduce them, to at least make them predictable? Because one of the biggest problems we have in centralized cloud solutions today is that costs are rarely predictable for startups, and misconfigurations and things like that can cost the earth. Now, for many centralized cloud infrastructures, if you make a mistake like that, you can talk to Amazon and they'll refund your costs. But can you do that in a decentralized cloud infrastructure that's using a crypto asset as a payment token? Probably not, but you certainly can't reverse the transaction, one would hope, but maybe there is a fund that would help to cover some basic mistakes that might be made certainly by startups when they're deploying this technology and using it for the first time. So that's important. I will also look at the development language and any constraints that are used for orchestration and development, because that's a big deal. A lot of these technologies, the service providers that I've seen so far, are very language agnostic. You can write your code in any language, containerize it, and deploy it to their computation platform. But some aren't, and you've got to understand what the impact of that is as well. We'll be looking at the organizations for these that are behind these projects. I think it's important. Just as you would in any traditional technology selection, you want to make sure that this project is going to be around for the next few years and doesn't leave you carrying the bag when they go bust. There's some kind of alternative. Well, hopefully they won't go bust, or at least if they do go bust and it's truly decentralized, it should make no damn difference, right? Well, that's the kind of thing that we'll be looking at. The community is very important. We've already talked about tokenomics briefly, but the community is very important. So what does that mean? How responsive is the community to support requests? How responsive are they in terms of providing new information? How proactive are they by understanding what you're doing and reaching out to you when something's changed or something is useful? Are they proactive in reaching out to you, or are they passive, waiting for you to ask how they could help in some way? All of those things are really important. How active and engaged the community is important for any crypto asset project, and certainly the same applies to a decentralized cloud project. And then, yeah, other things that I try and look at are repository activity. How many developers are there working on this thing? How many people are actually watching the project? How many issues are being resolved? How many pull requests are being generated? So very high level, first pass. I'm going to go over these 20 projects very relatively quickly and fill out the spreadsheet, a link to which will be included in the show notes. And based on this initial first pass analysis, I will deep dive into the second phase with the projects that look like they are worth pursuing in terms of my time. And what I'll do at the next stage is actually use the technology to build something and to execute some kind of workload. And I'll record what I'm doing live and hopefully publish those results up here as well to my channel. So if you think this content is useful, please like and subscribe. As I said, you can find us on Facebook, Telegram, Discord. All of the links will be in the show notes. Please feel free to reach out to me with any specific requests you have if you think I should be looking into something. This is a good faith exercise to try and understand more about these projects. I have absolutely no intention to speculate on these projects whatsoever. It's a technical exercise and nothing more. So thank you very much for your time and have a wonderful day.